On August 30th, 2024, Fat Man Scoop was performing on stage in Hampton, Connecticut, when tragedy struck. In the middle of his high-energy set, he suddenly collapsed, leaving fans and crew members in shock. Despite immediate medical response and transportation to a nearby hospital, the beloved artist could not survive. Unfortunately, he was not the first. Throughout music history, many performers have given their final performance while doing what they loved most, entertaining their fans. Today, we're honoring 13 musicians whose lives ended on stage, reminding us of both the passion they had for their craft and the fragility of life itself. These stories are heartbreaking, but they also celebrate the dedication these artists had to their music until their very last breath. Big Pokey, Houston hip-hop legend's final freestyle. Big Pokey, whose real name was Milton Powell, was a legendary rapper from Houston, Texas, and one of the founding members of the Screwed Up Clique. If you've ever heard of the chopped and screwed style of hip-hop, Big Pokey was one of the key players behind this revolutionary sound that defined Houston's music scene. He got his start in the 90s working closely with DJ Screw and really made a name for himself with his 1999 album, Hardest Pit in the Litter. His freestyle on June 27th and his feature on Paul Wall's Sitting Sideways are still considered iconic in the rap world today. On June 17, 2023, during a live performance in Beaumont, Texas, Big Pokey suddenly collapsed on stage. He was rushed to the hospital, but sadly passed away overnight at just 48 years old. According to the autopsy, he suffered a heart attack, with underlying health issues like hypertension, diabetes, and obesity contributing to his untimely death. Big Pokey wasn't just a rapper, he was a cornerstone of Houston's hip-hop culture, and his influence is still felt today. Sergio Dennis, Latin music's tragic fall. On March 11, 2019, during a concert in San Miguel de Tucumán, singer-songwriter Sergio Dennis experienced a devastating accident while performing. He fell from the stage, a drop of about 3 meters, and landed in an orchestra pit below. The fall left him unconscious with a severe head injury and a broken shoulder. Dennis was rushed to a nearby hospital where doctors placed him in an induced coma due to the critical nature of his injuries. Despite ongoing medical care, he never regained consciousness. After more than a year of being in a coma, Sergio Dennis passed away on May 15, 2020, leaving behind a legacy cherished by fans of Latin music. His tragic accident serves as a stark reminder of the physical dangers that performers face every time they take the stage. Dennis was known for his passionate performances and deep connection with his audience, making his loss even more heartbreaking for the Latin music community that had embraced him throughout his career. Talal Maddah, the Earth's voice goes silent. Talal Maddah, affectionately known as the Earth's Voice, was a celebrated Saudi Arabian singer and composer whose career spanned over 4 decades. He was considered one of the most influential figures in Arabic music, with a voice that could move entire nations. On August 11, 2000, at the age of 60, Maddah was performing live on Al Muftaha stage in Oba, Saudi Arabia. During the concert, which was being broadcast live on Saudi national television, he collapsed on stage shortly after beginning one of his well-known songs. Despite immediate medical attention, he passed away from a heart attack in front of his live audience and television viewers across the Arab world. Maddah's sudden passing was a profound loss to the music community and his millions of fans. The official Saudi press agency confirmed his death and honored his significant contributions to Arabic music. His funeral was held in Jeddah, and he was laid to rest in Mecca. Even after his death, Maddah's music continues to resonate with audiences, solidifying his legacy as a pivotal figure in Saudi and Middle Eastern music. Giuseppe Pino Mango, Italian rock's heartbreaking finale. Giuseppe Pino Mango, an acclaimed Italian singer-songwriter, passed away on December 8, 2014, at the age of 60 during a concert in Policoro, southern Italy. He was performing his renowned song Aro when tragedy struck in the most heartbreaking way possible. During the performance, he suddenly raised his arm, apologized to the audience by saying, "Excuse me," and then collapsed on stage. The politeness of his final words, even as he was suffering a fatal heart attack, showed the kind of gentleman he was until his very last moment. He was promptly transported to a hospital, but unfortunately did not survive the heart attack. Tragically, just a day later, his older brother Giovanni Mango, aged 75, suffered a heart attack during Pino's wake and also passed away. Pino Mango was celebrated for his unique fusion of pop, rock, folk, and world music, and he left an indelible mark on the Italian music scene. His untimely death was a significant loss to the music community and his fans worldwide, who remembered him not just for his talent, but for his grace even in his final moments. Anthony Berger, Gospel Legends' Final Keys. Anthony Berger was a beloved gospel pianist known for his incredible talent and infectious energy that could light up any room. On February 22, 2006, during a Gaither gospel cruise aboard the MS Zwitterdam, Anthony suddenly collapsed and passed away at just 44 years old. He was performing alongside gospel legends Bill and Gloria Gaither and Guy Penrod when something unimaginable occurred. In the middle of the performance, fans noticed something was terribly wrong. Anthony had suddenly stopped moving, and his hands were clenched into fists over the keyboard. It was a shocking moment that left everyone in disbelief. Fellow artists rushed to his aid, carrying him backstage while the ship's emergency response team jumped into action, performing CPR for an agonizing 45 minutes. Sadly, their efforts couldn't revive him. He had suffered a massive heart attack. The news of his passing sent waves of grief through the gospel music world. Anthony Berger wasn't just a musician. He was a cornerstone of the genre, bringing joy and inspiration to countless fans through his music. His loss is still deeply felt by all who admired his talent and spirit. Spade Cooley, the King's controversial final bow. Spade Cooley was once hailed as the king of Western swing, a musician who dominated the country music scene in the 1940s and 50s. But his life took a dark and tragic turn, and his story ended in an almost surreal way. On November 23, 1969, Cooley was out on a 72-hour furlough from prison, where he was serving a sentence for murdering his wife. He had been granted temporary leave to perform a benefit concert in Oakland, California, which was meant to show his reformed character. During the performance, Spade seemed to be in good spirits, even joking about making a comeback once he was released. However, shortly after finishing his set and receiving a standing ovation, he collapsed backstage. It was a heart attack, and despite efforts to save him, he died almost instantly. The irony of a man whose life was filled with turmoil finding his end just after a moment of applause still lingers as one of the most dramatic conclusions to a controversial life. His story serves as a complex reminder of how talent and tragedy can intertwine in the most unexpected ways. Pedro Henrique, gospel singer's divine departure. On December 13, 2023, during a live performance in Feira de Santana, Pedro Henrique was performing the song Vem Tua Linda at a religious event when partway through the performance, he suddenly collapsed on stage. Henrique fell backward and lost consciousness instantly, shocking the audience who had been singing along moments before. Emergency responders were called to the scene, and he was rushed to a nearby hospital with medical teams working desperately to save him. Despite the medical team's efforts, he was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. The cause of death was determined to be a massive heart attack that struck without warning. The shocking moment occurred in full view of the audience, leaving fans and fellow performers in disbelief. The incident left his fans and the gospel music community reeling with grief. Known for his soulful voice and deep faith, Pedro Henrique's passing marked a significant loss to Brazilian gospel music. His legacy continues to inspire believers and music lovers alike, with many seeing his peaceful passing during a religious performance as somehow fitting for a man who dedicated his life to spreading faith through song. Nelson Eddy, operatic voices final note. On March 5, 1967, iconic entertainer Nelson Eddy suffered a tragic incident while performing at the Sans Souci Hotel in Miami Beach, Florida. During his performance of the song Dardanella, he collapsed on stage, struck by a cerebral hemorrhage. His longtime singing partner Jeanette MacDonald and his accompanist Ted Payton rushed to his aid, but the situation was critical. Eddy was transported to Mount Sinai Medical Center, where he passed away in the early hours of March 6, 1967, at the age of 65. Eddy, renowned for his operatic voice and memorable performances in classic musicals, left behind a legacy cherished by fans worldwide. He was known for his partnership with Jeanette MacDonald in films like Rose Marie and Maytime, which made them one of Hollywood's most beloved singing duos. He was laid to rest at Hollywood Forever Cemetery, buried between his mother and his widow, who survived him by 20 years. His death marked the end of an era in musical entertainment, as he was one of the last great operatic voices of Hollywood's golden age. Bruce Hampton, the Colonel's 70th birthday finale. On May 1, 2017, Colonel Bruce Hampton celebrated his 70th birthday with an all-star tribute concert at the Fox Theater in Atlanta, Georgia, dubbed Hampton 70, a celebration of Colonel Bruce Hampton. The event brought together a remarkable lineup of musicians, including members of Widespread Panic, Phish, Tedeschi Trucks Band, and REM, along with other prominent artists and even a 13-year-old guitar prodigy, Brandon Niederauer. Tragically, during the encore performance, Hampton collapsed on stage while Niederauer was soloing on the song Turn on Your Love Light. Known for his eccentric stage antics, many initially thought his collapse was part of a stage joke, as Hampton had a history of such pranks during performances. He lay motionless face down with his arm draped over a monitor as the band continued playing, unaware of the severity of the situation. After several minutes, Hampton was carried off stage and rushed to Emory University Hospital Midtown in Atlanta, where he was pronounced dead from a massive heart attack. His passing marked the end of a storied and influential career, leaving an indelible impact on the music world and a legacy of creativity, humor, and mentorship. Sib Hashian, Boston's drumbeat stops. On March 22, 2017, Sib Hashian, best known as the drummer for the iconic rock band Boston, tragically passed away at the age of 67. Hashian was performing live on the cruise ship Independence of the Seas as part of a rock-themed cruise when tragedy struck. During his set, he suddenly collapsed on stage, suffering a fatal heart attack. Efforts were made to revive him, but Hashian could not be saved, leaving fellow musicians and fans in shock. His passing stunned the music community, marking the end of a career that included his powerful drumming on Boston's legendary hits like More Than a Feeling and Peace of Mind. These songs defined arena rock in the 1970s and continue to be classics today. Hashian's legacy as a rock drummer lives on, celebrated by fans and fellow musicians alike. His powerful, driving drum beats were essential to Boston's signature sound that influenced countless rock bands that followed. The fact that he died doing what he loved most, performing for fans, seemed somehow fitting for a musician who had dedicated his life to rock and roll. His final performance became a testament to his lifelong passion for music. Miriam Makeba, Mama Africa's final song. On November 9, 2008, Zenzile Miriam Makeba, fondly known as Mama Africa, passed away at the age of 76 after suffering a heart attack during a concert in Castel Volturno, Italy. She was performing at a benefit concert aimed at raising awareness about organized crime when she collapsed shortly after singing her iconic hit, Pata Pata. Her death marked the end of a remarkable life devoted to music, activism, and the fight against oppression. Makeba's legacy extends far beyond her music. As one of the first African musicians to achieve global recognition, she brought the sounds of Africa to international audiences, blending Afropop, jazz, and world music. She was not only a musical icon, but also a tireless advocate against apartheid in South Africa and a symbol of resistance to injustice. Her song, Soweto Blues, written by Hugh Masekela, became an anthem for the anti-apartheid movement. Throughout her career, Makeba used her platform to speak against racism and inequality. She testified at the United Nations, worked alongside civil rights leaders in the U.S., and performed at numerous independence celebrations across Africa. Despite being exiled from her homeland for decades, her spirit remained deeply rooted in South African culture and the struggle for freedom. Meet Loaf, rock legend's dehydration collapse. On June 16, 2016, during a concert at Edmonton's Northern Alberta Jubilee Auditorium, Meet Loaf, the renowned rock singer born Marvin Leaday, collapsed on stage while performing his iconic song, "I'd Do Anything for Love, But I Won't Do That." The 68-year-old artist was promptly attended to by his bandmates and emergency medical personnel before being transported to a nearby hospital. The cause of the collapse was later attributed to severe dehydration. This incident occurred shortly after Meat Loaf had postponed a show in Calgary earlier that week due to illness. Following the Edmonton collapse, his representative assured fans that Meat Loaf was responsive and recovering well. Meat Loaf had previously experienced health issues during performances, including a collapse in London in 2003 due to Wolff-Parkinson-White syndrome and another in Pittsburgh in 2011 attributed to an asthma attack. Despite these health scares, Meat Loaf continued performing until later in his career, showing his dedication to his fans and his music. His powerful, theatrical performances and operatic rock style made him a unique figure in music history. Though he survived this particular incident, it highlighted the physical toll that decades of high-energy performances had taken on the legendary rocker. These 13 stories remind us of the ultimate dedication these musicians had to their craft. Each of them was doing what they loved most when they took their final breath, sharing their music with the world and connecting with their fans. From Big Pokey's freestyle flows to Miriam Makeba's freedom songs, from Anthony Berger's gospel keys to Bruce Hampton's experimental sounds, these artists represent the full spectrum of musical expression. What they all shared was an unwavering commitment to their art that continued literally until their dying breath. These tragic moments also highlight the physical and emotional demands of live performance. The stress on the body, the adrenaline of being on stage, and the passion required to truly connect with an audience can sometimes push performers beyond their limits. Yet there's something beautifully poetic about the fact that these musicians left this world while doing what they were born to do. They didn't fade away in hospital beds or nursing homes. They went out in a blaze of musical glory, surrounded by the energy of live performance and the love of their fans. Their stories remind us to cherish every live performance we attend, because we never know when we might be witnessing something truly special or truly final. These artists gave everything they had to their music, and their final performances became the ultimate expression of that dedication. If these stories moved you or reminded you of the power of live music, share this video with others who understand the magic of performance. These musicians may be gone, but their music and their passion lives on forever.